Aloha! I'm Sandra Azieli, here to share with you a yoga practice where we move and groove, and today we're going to do a little focus on twisting. So what you're going to need for the practice today is a chair. You don't absolutely need one, but it's great if you have a chair. 2 blocks, some sort of blanket or block or towel to sit on, and we might use straps. Haven't decided that yet, so have the strap within reach. Okay, here we go. Let's start by getting a nice stretch in your spine. So take your chair and just dive right in. Take your hands to the back of the chair. But first, I want to make sure class doesn't go too long, so I'll check what time it is. All right, just did that. And now walk backwards, bend your knees a little bit, just to get some time to lengthen your spine. So, the sense of your sit bones moving back. For today, ears about the height of your arms, feet as parallel as feels comfortable. And then maybe move towards straightening your legs, maybe not. Focus on the length in your spine. Good. Alright, and then bend your knees quite a bit. Get a little bit more. Lengthening that spine. Being careful not to drop the ribs. I do that a little too often still. I'm working on that. It's a common habit. Okay, and then come up a little, take a step forward. Roll your shoulders up and around a few times. Really get into the shoulder blades. Up, back, down and around. So if you're not using a chair, you could have done this on a rail or against the wall. And if you're not using a chair, go ahead and take a seat on the floor. Otherwise, come to sit on the front edge of your chair. And I just want to take a little time to tune into the breath. So start with your feet parallel to each other. Take your shoulder blades up by your ears again. Roll them back and down. Rest your hands on your thighs. Let's rock the pelvis a little back and forth. Good. So you can sit on the front edge of your sit bones, a spot where your spine can stay nice and long and your shoulder blades can relax, release. Go ahead and close your eyes. Let your jaw soften one layer. And bring your awareness to your breath. Just take a little time to tune in. Entering into the practice. Recognizing that part of the practice is paying attention to how you feel, paying attention to the messages the body gives us, taking the time to be with what is right now. And then go ahead and bring your palms together over your heart. Gently press your palms in towards each other and encourage your collarbones to lift a little, your shoulder blades to descend. So continue actively pressing the palms in towards each other and begin to move your breath a little bit more actively as well. So your inhalation creates expansion, exhalation, letting go of what you don't need to hold on to, but also continuing to keep the spine long, working with gravity, being with gravity. And then bring your hands back onto your lap, palms face up. Gently press the back of your hands down into your thighs. As you do that, take your shoulder blades down, your back, your spine lengthens, and let your eyes open. All right. Wiggle your fingers. Time to get up Lean forward, press down with your feet, come up to standing. Let's stretch our spines again. It's such a great thing to do. If you want to go a little bit different variety, you can turn, if you have a chair that moves, you can turn the chair the other way. Go a little bit lower, or turn around the other side of the chair. Start with your hands on the chair. Walk your feet back. This one simulates downward facing dog maybe a little bit more because you get a little bit more of an angle in the hips. If you bend your knees quite a bit, you get that angle of the hips, diagonal shape of the spine. And again, maybe move towards straightening the legs a little bit, but not to compromise the spine. Great. All right, and then bring your chest forward a little bit, take a step forward, come on up, roll your shoulders. Okay, so we're going to start with a twist on the chair, and I'd like you to get a block. So today, I'm going to have you twist to the right first. So that means have your chair in such a way that you can sit with the back of the chair to your right. Take the chair, or take the block between your knees. Lean on your sit bones, encourage your spine to lengthen. Give yourself just a little rub right above the navel. That's where we're going to be getting this twist from. Take a nice inhalation. As you exhale, without using your hands, just begin to turn to the right. Inhale, lift and lengthen your spine. Exhale, spiral. As you go a little further, you can drape your right hand just behind your back. Don't use it to push yourself into the twist yet. Encourage that spine to turn. So notice if your head wants to turn first, try not to do that. All right, now when you get to your maximum, take your hand, your left hand, to the back of the chair. Give yourself a little pull. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. Then take your right hand right up on the back of the chair and push. That's going to give you a little bit more into the twist. Now those of you who have extra curvy spines, you need to be careful and pay attention to the direction you're twisting. So if you have a right thoracic, for example, you don't want to overly twist in this direction, and you might want to bring your rib cage, instead of it poking out, bring it a little bit more in towards center. So you twist a little bit, but not to your maximum. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. And for those of you who have a right thoracic, left lumbar, you can focus on actually bringing your awareness to your lumbar curve to derotate. If you're not part of the extra curvy club, don't worry about it. Just take your time to breathe. One more inhalation. And then on your exhalation, go ahead and unwind. Back to center. If you have a mosquito bite, try not to scratch it. All right, second side. So you can just turn around in the chair. If you want to face me, you can turn the chair around, but I'm going to just turn the chair around so you'll see me from the back. Block between the knees. Trust me, it's still there. Sit bones ground, spine lengthens. Take your left hand just above your navel, give a little rub just to remind yourself to move from there. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, begin to spiral. Again, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. So as you twist, you're incrementally moving up your spine. When you go a little further, take your right hand to the back of the chair. Give it a little pull. Let the twist come into your upper body, into your shoulders. As you go a little further, take your left hand onto the back of the chair. Give that a little push. So again, for members of the Extra Curvy Club, if you have a right thoracic extra curve, this is a time to focus on the derotation in your upper spine and minimize the twist in the lower spine. If your curves are the opposite, then you do the opposite. And you can ask me another time about if you have questions about that. Okay, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. At the end, get the neck into it, but not overly so. One more inhalation, and then let go of the hands and unwind back to center. Take a moment, feel the shape of your spine, the length of your spine, and then come back up. Standing. And since the chair's here, one more time. One more time. Let's take a right angle of the chair. Okay, get that length. So now you can come back up to standing. Put the chair off to the side. We're not going to need it for a little while, a long while. And grab your strap. I said maybe use the strap. I decided we were going to use the strap. Get a little bit into the shoulder blades. So take a hold of your strap between your thumb and forefinger. Let's inhale. Take our arms up. Feel your feet rooting down. Actually, lift your toes. Spread your toes. So the base of your toes, your heels can root down. And then encourage a lot of length through the side bodies. So often we have a lot of places in the side of the rib cage, right, this area here, where we don't realize that there's actually a little more space from which we can stretch. It's good to get movement in there. Helps with our breath. Bring your toes down. Okay, now keep the length you've created in the spine. Take your arms down. And then inhale, take your arms back up. Now, if it feels comfortable for you, comfortable in the sense that it doesn't cause pain, you might feel the tension, take your hands behind your back. You might feel a little sticky spot. You might need to take the strap a little wider. Just going up and down a few times at your own pace. Looks like this, from going sideways. Trying to keep stability in the center of your body, accessing that spot. And that's an important spot for twisting, because we want to keep the length in the spine, in the upper spine, when we go into twists, and having an awareness of the shoulder blades is very helpful for that. Okay, go ahead and put the strap off to your the side. Roll your shoulders in a little bit more. And then bring a little fluidity to the shoulder blades. Just whatever works for you. Maybe circle one direction, one goes one way, one the other way. I mean, the arm. Just get a little movement there. Because we are about to get down on the floor and do some hamstring hip openers. Are you ready? I'm ready. So I hope you will join me. Grab your strap again. Lie down on your back. Knees bent. To start with, strap within reach. Exhale. Let your jaw soften. Notice how it feels. Oh, it's actually really nice to stay here. One more exhalation. Good. All right, and then go ahead and extend your legs onto the floor. So take a moment lying on the floor. Allow a longer exhalation. Make sure that when you are on the floor, your eyes are facing up towards the ceiling. If your head is turning back, take a blanket or towel, put that under your head. Also, if you're working on psoas release, which I'll talk about another day, but really dropping the ribs, you might take something under your head. But for today, I really just feel like lying on the floor. Sometimes lying on the floor, in and of itself, not sometimes, often, it's a great thing to do because your body is experiencing different pressure points, different relationship than lying to space, to gravity than if you're lying on a bed. So for sometimes if you're in pain or tired, just lying on the floor is a great thing. So another inhalation, exhalation. All right, we've been lying on the floor, not moving. Now it's time to move. So go ahead, bend your knees. Both feet on the floor. And bring your right knee a little bit towards your chest. you still have your lumbar curve. Don't round your lower back. And just create a little mobility in the joint. So begin to circle your right thigh. Good little circles. As you do this, encourage, whoops, watch out for falling blocks when it's windy. Encourage the rest of your body to stay stable, which is actually not that easy. Sometimes it's even harder when you make the movement smaller. Alright, and then reverse direction. Just to get a little mobility there. Exhale. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Bend the left knee a little, circle. And other direction. If I didn't hold that side as long, that's okay. So, and choose bigger, smaller. Notice if your neck tenses when you do that. That might mean you want to have something under your head. I'm right on the verge, I feel today. Alright, then maybe spin both legs onto the floor. And just out of point of interest, go ahead and bend your right knee, hold on to the thigh. Notice how it's different to circle the thigh when your left leg is extended. Right? There's a little bit more restriction. Go the other way. To really focus on stabilization. Okay. So now, keep your right knee to your chest. Find your strap, whatever way you need to find it. And then swing your strap over your right foot. Extend the leg up and away. For happy, healthy, heartier hamstrings, here we go. Reach through your heel. Press the base of your big toe, little toe into the strap. Draw your toes towards your nose. So we're not trying to get our toes to our nose. Just pull them in that direction a little to open up your calf. Feel the stretch down the back of your leg. So it doesn't need to be extreme. Just a sensation of stretch. And then let's bring a little movement to it. So on your inhalation, take your leg away from your head. On the exhalation, bring your leg towards you. You go back and forth at your own pace. Now I'm doing my best to not flex my spine. So that means this is about my maximum for today. Some days might be more, some days less. But today, right about here. So find that spot where your spine stays stable. So you're really working the mobility of the joint. Alright, and then cross your strap. Find one spot to hold the leg. And pull a little bit more with your left hand. As you do that, actually slide the strap down a little bit down your foot so it's more, a little bit in front of your ankle. It's going to get a little bit different spot than I often stretch. Pull a little bit more with the left foot, left hand. Good. Alright, and then since our leg is here, let's do one more little bit of external rotation. Externally rotate your right leg. Bring your right elbow onto the floor and then slowly take it out to the side. Go slow so that you build the mobility and strength at the same time. So the strap helps, but don't rely on the strap. Rely on the strength of your leg. The strap just gives you a little tactile aid, support, reminder to keep the leg straight. But don't flop into this. But to come up, bend your knee, lift your right leg up. Good. And then really feel your legs next to each other. If you notice a difference and you like how your right leg feels, then it's time to do the same thing on the left leg. I'm going to turn around because I have a fence next to me. You know, move around, create space in the way that works for you. Everyone's got different space they're working with. Okay, second side. Bend the left knee. Swing the strap around your foot. Take your leg up and away. Still attached, of course, so not too far away, but extending it. See where you might feel tightness today. right? It can appear in different places depending what you've been doing. If you've been doing a lot of calf lifts or wearing heels, you might feel it in your calf. Or depending on how you've been sitting, it might be in your hamstring. Or you may be lucky to feel it in both areas, upper and lower leg. Most importantly, take your time to feel and breathe. Let's move a little with the breath. Exhale, leg closer to your head. Inhale, leg away from your head. At your own pace. Most importantly, you're breathing. If you don't quite coordinate the breath with this, that's okay. Good, and then find a spot to hold your leg. Cross the strap. Slide it down your foot a little bit. And give a little bit more pull with your right hand. You get that diagonal pull. Sometimes I find it goes to interesting places. Sometimes the outer calf, sometimes the hip for me. Alright, and then uncross the strap, take both ends of the strap into your left hand. Rotate your left leg out to the side. Now remember, we're not relying on the strap. The strap is just giving a little extra support for you to press your foot into the strap as you slowly take your leg out to the left. Keep the stability. Breathe. Time to your wrist too. Alright, and then to come up, bend your left knee. Lift the leg up. Great. That feels great on me. Hope it does on you. Ah, yes. A little more space in my hip joints. They're happier hip joints. Alright, little tetrasana. Move your arms and legs around different directions. Explore the range of movement. Wiggle your toes. Good, and from there, roll over to your side. Let's come onto our hands and knees. Come back into the shoulder blades, because that area is really important for twisting. Take your blocks. I'm going to recommend most people, when you come onto all fours, it's actually very useful to be on blocks, because of it helps decrease the kyphosis, the rounding in your spine. So, I'm putting my hands on the ground because my mat's a little cushy, and that puts a little pressure on my wrist. So whatever works for you. If it's better to be on your knuckles, you can be on your knuckles. Go with your fingers spread. Slide your shoulders away from your ears. Externally rotate your arms. Let your head release. And it's time to Scarabasana. Shoulders, blades towards each other and away from each other. Up and down. Then from here we'll come into puppy pose. So keep your hips where they are. Let's stay on the blocks. Extend your right arm as far as it will go. Extend your left arm as far as it will go. Look between your hands. And exhale, lean back. Keep looking between your hands so you get a little more stretch when you do this in the rib cage. Breathe. Okay. Good. And then let your head release. Lean back a little further. And walk your hands closer to the blocks. Walk off the blocks. Come right into child's pose. Put blocks off to the side. Exhale. And with your next inhalation, come up to sitting. So we're going to do a little bit more lying down. What I'd like you to do is to have a block between your knees and either a block or a blanket under your head to lie on your side. It's going to look like this. One block between your knees, one block under your head. Let's see, yeah, that might be a touch high, but that's what I've got. I'd rather go high than low. Bring your hips in line with your shoulders. We're going to focus on moving the spine. So take your fingers to your sternum. Reach the bottom hand out in front, so you might not see the bottom of my hand, but the palm is facing up. And on your exhalation, from your spine, begin to turn to the right. On your inhalation, come on back. So the fingers are just to help remind you that you want to be twisting in the upper body. Oops, my breath's in the way. And not moving the hips. Notice my hips are staying completely stable. I'm just focusing on twisting from, really what it turns out is it's above my navel, the same area we were twisting earlier in the chair. Right, the next time you come into the twist, stay there. Breathe. Reach your elbow a little bit. Alright, and then unwind. And since we're here, one of my favorite things to do for shoulder opening is just to lie on my side, reach the arm overhead, and explore its range of movement just a little bit. Just moving it around. I might externally rotate it a little bit, so that would mean my palm is facing more in the direction behind me. And nice long, long reach. Breathe. And then release that. And make your way over to the other side. So I'll just turn around, so if you're wondering what it looks like from the other side, you'll see. Block under your head. Block between the knees. Hips staying even. Fingers on the sternum. Right arm extended, palm facing up. On the exhalation, a little twist. Now again, for those of you who are part of the Extra Curvy Club, there's going to be one side where you want to twist more than the other side. It's okay to twist a little bit on the convex side, but not too much. So this is my convex side, so I'm not going to go very far. I'm definitely not going to go to my maximum. I just want to maintain the mobility in that direction. And then you can hold for a moment where you are in the twist. Take the left arm on up. Again, if you have a concavity, this is a good time to take your arm overhead. If it's a convex side, I just bend the elbow, lift the elbow from the shoulder blade. If you don't have scoliotic curves, just do the same thing we did on the first time. Reach your arm over your ear, and then move it around a little bit. And then move it around with my elbow bent, which is another modification, even if you don't have the scoliosis. Alright, and then release. Roll back onto all fours. Have your blocks within reach. We're going to use them in a moment. Come onto your hands and knees. A quick Scaravasana, 2 or 3 times. Good. And then it's time for downward facing dog. Sometimes it's good to tuck in your shirt, otherwise it goes flying. You can either have your hands on the mat or hold on to the edges of the mat. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up, reach them back, and then move towards straightening your legs. Check out your dog pose today. First one. Lift your heels as high as they will go. Then take your sit bones back at the length in your spine, and only then begin to lower your heels towards the floor. Okay, and then child's pose. Inhale, come on up. And take your 2 blocks to the front of your mat. And then come into some lunges. That's what we're going to use a block. So take your right foot forward between your hands. like that. I mean right foot. Did I say foot or arm? Right foot. Forward between your hands. Tuck your back toes under and get a nice long reach. Lengthen your spine. I like using blocks because otherwise we wind up being very rounded. And we do that so much of the time. I recommend when you're yoga practice, finding as much length as possible. That's really the gift that yoga has provided. No matter what kind of yoga we do, there's such a focus on lengthening the spine, which is great. Okay, and then bring your left knee onto the ground. Release the foot. If balance is an issue, you can take your chair and help by holding onto the chair. Otherwise, come on up. Now, once you're here, be careful that you're not poking the ribs out. It's actually revealing some of the tension that's at the top of the thigh. So those ribs soften down. Play with the balance for a moment. Good. And then interlace your fingers. Reach your palms forward. Take your arms up till they reach a stopping point. And then lift your shoulder blades. Take them to the next stopping point. Release your hand. Keep them nice and long. Wiggle the fingers of your right hand. Take your right hand to the left side of your navel. On your exhalation, begin to turn to the right. As you turn, just gently place your left hand to the outside of your right thigh. Be careful you're not pushing the knee over to the left. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. Keep spiraling at your own pace. Remember, again, we start the twist from above, going up higher and higher. When you get toward your end range of motion, maybe press your left hand a little bit more into the leg. You can also reach your right arm behind your back. Turn to look at the right arm. Breathe. One more inhalation. Let's exhale. Unwind. As you unwind, take both arms up. Left arm, foot down, lengthen up with your spine, look up a little, get a little extension, arching spine. And exhale, release. Place your hands on the blocks, take your right foot back to meet your left. 3 big circles to the left. Three big circles to the right. And second side, left foot forward between your hands. Tuck your toes under. I'm going to take my blocks a little lower. Lift the right leg. Reach, reach, reach. Take a little time. Lengthen through the heel. Press your right thigh up towards the sky. Can you hear that? It sounds like there's a very low-flying plane or helicopter, I'm not sure. Release the back foot and come on up. Take a moment, find the balance again. Lengthen through the top of the right thigh so the ribs stay fairly stable, connected to other parts of your body. Inhale, take your arms on up. Ooh, we didn't interlace the fingers. Let's do it that way. Interlace your fingers. Use the opposite interlace than you did before. Palms forward, arms up for the first stopping point, arms up to the second stopping point. Yes, along with the lovely birds, helicopters are part of the sounds of Hawaii. Release your hands, palms face each other. One more inhalation. On your exhalation, begin to spiral from the belly to your left. Take your right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. Notice as your head comes forward. I have to watch that. Take your time. Maybe take your left arm behind your back. One more inhalation. On your exhalation, unwind. Reach your arms up. And come back on down. Good. Left knee meets the right. 3 big circles with your hips. This time place your hands onto the floor. And then 3 circles the other direction. And back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Hips go back, the legs then lengthen. Lift your heels as high as it will go. And release back. Breathe. At any time you feel you've been here long enough, you can come into child's pose. Or you can play with the length, the distance, the movement. Alright, let's come on down. Exhale. And back up. Back to the blocks. We're going to do the lunge again. We're going to add a twist again, but a little bit differently. Right foot forward. If this twist is a little too much for you, do what we did before. Tuck the back toes under, because we're going to keep the back leg up as you bring the block to the big toe side of your right foot. Encourage your knee to stay steady as you spiral to the right. Long reach through that back leg. From the belly, so be careful not to turn the pelvis. Take your right arm up and over. Maybe look up at the right arm. Breathe. One more inhalation. Let's exhale to unwind. Bring your left knee onto the floor. Take your right knee back to meet your left. This time, put the blocks off to the side. Let's spread your fingers and lower down to the floor. You can have your knees bent as you do that, or legs straight, of course. Slide your shoulders away from your ears. And as you inhale, gently lift the sternum. Long reach through the back leg, so very gentle back bend. Baby cobra. At inhalation, you might lift up a little. Exhalation, you'll feel the body releasing. Good. And then release your head. Slide your hands so your thumbs come a little bit, make sure they're under your armpits. Bend your knees. And now this is challenging for strength, so if it doesn't work for you, you'll get up another way. But the intention is on the exhalation to press down with the hands, keeping the rib cage intact, connected, and straighten your arms. Back into downward facing dog. Alright, now we're ready for the second side. Bring your knees on down. Find your blocks again. Take your left foot forward between your hands. Tuck your back toes under. Reach through the back heel. Get that length in your spine. So I'm not going to twist as much on this side because of my spine, but I'm still going to twist a little bit. So I encourage you to do what is right for your body. Reach long through the back heel. Breathe. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. Take your time. Notice if your shoulder comes up by your ear. Encourage your head to be in line with the spine. Option to stay here. I'm going to stay here. Or you can take your left arm up into the air. Or take your left arm up and over your left ear. Most importantly, breathe, lengthen. Okay, one more inhalation or 2 more inhalations. And then go ahead and unwind. Bring your right knee down. Take your left leg back to meet your right. Put the blocks off to the side. Come back onto your hands and knees. And let's lower down to the floor again. As much as possible, bending your elbows directly backwards. You'll find when you do this, you don't go straight down, you go a little forward with your torso. That's it. Release your legs, and then begin to slide your elbows forward. You'll find that once the elbows touch the ground and you begin to slide forward, your torso needs to lift to slide your elbows even more forward. So we come into a Sphinx pose. Now, if this is uncomfortable in your lower back, take your hands a little further forward. I'm placing my elbows just a little bit in front of my shoulders. Now, I could just hang out here and feel my shoulder blades come together, reminder of Scarabasana, the lower part, but instead I'm going to use this awareness I've created in my shoulder blades to use that to support the lift in my chest. So do that one more time. Go ahead and release. And then press your forearms down. Firm the shoulder blades. Reach for your legs. When I'm here, I like to just gently draw my heel of my hand back just a little bit. Almost just the skin, and that's going to help me open up the chest a little bit more. Now, I'm being careful not to overdo the bend in my lower back. That's the most bendy spot. Instead, I'm trying to create more extension in the chest, in the upper spine. Good, and then release. Slide your hands back down by your side. Take a moment to rock your sacrum. Bring your hands now back so your thumbs are under your armpits. Hug your elbows towards each other. We're going to come up using that strength building position. If it is too intense on your shoulders, please modify, come up another way. Otherwise, bend your knees. Rib cage is going to stay stable. Nice inhalation. On the exhalation, straighten your arms. Excellent. And let's come back into puppy pose. Reach your arms forward, get that length in your spine. Child's pose again, just for a moment. And inhale up to seated. Roll your shoulders a few times. Now grab whatever height you need to sit comfortably on the floor. So I'm going to use a beach towel. Get whatever you want, blocks, bolsters, blankets. Take a moment to come into Dandasana. So on the front edge of your sit bones, go ahead and press your hands into your thighs, thighs into your hands. Get that length in your spine. I think you can see the tips of my toes. That's good. So we're still twisting, a little more twisting. So the last twist, actually the last few twists we did, we are twisting toward the front leg. And we're going to continue with that. So by that I mean whichever leg is leading, you twist towards it, as opposed to this would be twisting away from it. Just to keep you in the loop of what I'm talking about. So what I'd like you to do is to take your right leg and bring it over your left thigh. Draw your knee in towards your chest. As you do that, keep the spine long. Remember all that shoulder stuff we did at the beginning. Scarabasana, that spine lengthening. Now you can choose to keep your left leg straight or bend it off to the side. Draw your knee in towards the chest. If you find that doesn't feel good on your hip, keep your foot in front of the shin instead of the thigh. Most importantly, we're going to have length. Keep your hands on your knee. Don't pull on the knee to draw you into the twist quite yet. I'd like you to do that on your own in the sense of using it from your torso. So as you exhale, begin to spiral to your right. Inhale, lift and lengthen. On your exhalation, spiral. When you get to your maximum, then push into your knees a little bit more to draw you into the twist. Again, for me, I'm not going to go as far because this is my convex side. For those of you who have a right thoracic, you're turning to the right. This is also your convex side, so not necessarily need to go to the maximum. Okay? Everybody else, you might choose to take your left arm, wrap it around the knee, and draw yourself more deeply into the twist. Inhale, lifting, lengthening. Exhale, spiraling. Right, feeling the twist go up the whole spine. Let it twist. Let yourself feel that twist in the belly. And at the very end, when you can begin to turn your head. Right, one more inhalation here. On the exhalation, unwind back to center. Come back into Dandasana. Wiggle those toes. Ready for the second side. So take your left foot over your right foot. Hold onto the knee, lengthen your spine. Either stay here or bend the opposite knee. Now again, if this is too intense on the hips, doesn't feel good, take your foot in front of the shin instead of the thigh. Draw the spine nice and long. Take your time with your breath. Breathing and twisting go nicely together. As you exhale, begin to spiral to your left. Again, not pressing, not pushing your hands, using the muscles of your torso. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, spiral. When you get to your maximum, take your right arm, wrap it around maybe, or just use your hands to press into the knee. Left hand behind the back. So you may know that I am going a little further on this side, focusing on de-rotating. Something once you understand your curves, those of you with scoliosis, that will make sense. And then let your head turn. One more inhalation here. And then let's unwind, come back to center. Good. Come back to Dandasana for a moment. Wiggle your toes. And bring the soles of your feet together. Get a little opening in that hip. Hold on to your feet or your ankles. You might need to be on a little bit more height for this. If it hurts the inner thighs, just skip this, stay in Dandasana, or go back to Dandasana. And then go ahead and take your legs wide. Sit bones ground, spine lengthen. And one more last spiral, seated spiral. From your belly, turn towards, a little bit, towards your right leg. Take the time turning from the belly. We're not going to push any further than that. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, second side. One more inhalation. On your exhalation, unwind. Go ahead, bend your knees. Come a moment to cross-legged. And just feel the length you've created in your spine. And now it's time for Shavasana. And you may notice that just the thought of Shavasana can be transformative. It can change, darken the color of your shirt, change the way the sun comes in. All sorts of amazing things happen just the thought of Shavasana. So when you get to practice Shavasana, maybe even more wonderful things happen. So go ahead and lie on down. Take a moment. Let your knees be bent. Place your hands on your belly. Allow your exhalation to be just a little longer. Letting go of one more layer. And then extend one leg at a time onto the floor. Close your eyes. Take your arms by your side, palms face up. And take a little time to just let your breath flow. Let the breath flow along the spine. Let the breath flow throughout your entire body. And let that flow of the breath guide you to Shavasana, to relaxation. And then slowly and gently bring your awareness back to your body, back to your breath. Bring a little movement to your fingers. Bring a little movement to your toes. Reach a little through your arms, reach a little through your legs. And then bend one knee at a time, roll over to your side. Stay there a moment. And then make your way up to sitting. Sit bones ground, spine lengthen, bring your palms together over your heart. May the attention you've given today to your spine nourish your entire body, your entire being. Namaste. All right, thanks again for watching, and really encourage you to pay attention to those little movements of the spine. The more we can articulate, which means move each vertebra, the more freedom, fluidity, control you have over your range of movement. So thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Mahalo!